So manipulation is a very tricky tool, right? I think in some ways, every human on the planet has some level of unintentional manipulation. And it could be about your own body. Like I know how to manipulate my body. I used to be a personal trainer, so I know how to manipulate my body, right? If you go to a chiropractor, they're manipulating your body. So we all have some level of a healthy version of that. It's where it becomes problematic for you. And you may be following into these traps of their manipulation web. Okay. And I feel like it was very important to talk to you about this. I see this so much with my clients, and then it starts making you feel guilty, or you allow yourself to feel guilty or feel shame or think that there's something wrong with you. There's something that you're doing that's wrong. So I want to talk to you about some ways that you can see this. Now, some people aren't always malevolent. They're not always conspiring in the corner like this to manipulate you. That's not what they're always doing. Now, that being said, a lot of times they are, but not everybody is, right? They could be dealing with a level of insecurity. So we know the whys. It could be insecurity. There could be an ADHD component. There could be a bipolar component. That is not your responsibility, and it is not a permission slip for them to manipulate you just because they're dealing with a level of anxiety or neurodivergence, all right? So you have to be really careful of giving people a free pass when it comes to the manipulation factor. If somebody has ever, let's say somebody comes over and helps you garden. I don't know. You have a friend who has come over and helped you garden once a week, right? And I don't know, maybe they feel some kind of way, but they didn't communicate it to you. I don't know. They're angry with you about something. They're frustrated, but they don't communicate this to you. So they say, I'm not coming over. I can't do that anymore because I can't, right? This is a level of manipulation. It's also passive aggression. If somebody can't come to you and say, hey, you know what, that stuff that you said or you doing this really made me feel some kind of way and I need a minute, or can we talk about it? They're not communicating this with you. So they're trying to use this, that fear of conflict or that passive aggression, to just pull back something. I'm going to take something that you need from me, right? It's a power move. I'm going to take this away so you can figure it out, so you can hurt, right? Because people who want to hurt people are trying to manipulate them. They will also try to smear you. So they can try to smear you. They can try to tell everybody all of these incorrect things about you, or just lies, blatant lies, to make themselves feel better, right? Because if it's you, it's not them, right? If I'm unhappy with myself, I got to pull you down to my level. That is still manipulation, right? There's smear campaigns, there's insecurity. We know what it is. But I need you to understand that when you know these things, you're not going to take them as close to your chest, right? You got to stop taking these things personal, right? Because it speaks volumes, right? So let's go to this fictitious scenario where this person has decided they're going to stop gardening for you. No need for you to sit there and ask 100 questions. Well, I don't understand why you stopped gardening. What happened? Are you mad at me? Now you've opened up this dialogue, because here's the deal. There's no need for you to ask if they're angry with you. Stop trying to pry that oyster shell open. It is their responsibility. If they are upset with you and they are angry with you, it is their responsibility to say something to you. It is not your responsibility to try to figure it out and then go, well, I wish that you were here. I don't know how to garden without you. Now there's a whole level of it. There's another way, and it can get really, really deep. If anyone ever says to you, this is in a relationship, but any type of a relationship, if they say to you, well, if you leave me or if we break up, I'm going to hurt myself. And even worse, maybe completely unalive themselves. Run in the other direction as fast as you can. Leave your stuff at the door and go. It is never, and I mean never, your responsibility to try to get someone to stay on this planet. It is not your responsibility. It's not. So when people say that, this is a manipulation tactic. If you do this, I'm good. Now, if they're like, oh, if you do this, I'm going to be lost. Okay, you're just like, okay, that's extra. I'm gone. If, like I said, they threaten any kind of harm or a complete harm to themselves, you got to let that be. And if they go through with it, that is not your responsibility. That is a big chunk of responsibility that they're trying to put on you. And we ain't going to go for that. That is a huge manipulation move. Huge manipulation move. Okay. Now, maybe not quite as in depth and as dark as that. There's this manipulation of, but but you make me so happy. That's their attachment. That's their own insecurity. And they're going to try to guilt you. When anyone tries to guilt you, passive aggressively or directly, that is manipulation. So this is a good check for yourself. Are you doing some of these things? Are you trying to make somebody feel guilty because they didn't show up to dinner? Are you trying to say, well, but I guess this is a prime example of passive aggression trying to guilt you. You are having this big party. You really want this one friend to come, and they're not going to give you a bunch of information because they don't need to. They don't need to give you a thesis as to why they're not coming. Are you going to be coming to my party? No, I'm not available that day. That's it. No more. You don't need to ask a million questions. They don't need to ask a million questions. But if you go, oh, okay, well, you can say, oh, okay, well, I was kind of wanted you there. That's fine. Let's do something another day. That's okay. It's where you go. It's where they would go. Hopefully not you, but where they would go. Oh, okay. I mean, I got your favorite food, and that guy that you like is going to be there. Now you're trying to manipulate it to still get what you want. And that's what they can do to you a lot. So when they're going into this guilt complex, and people will use passed over people, like people who have died, they will use them so much try to use them so much against you. Well, your grandmother would really want you to be here for Christmas. Yeah, you don't have to be. So you want to be really careful, because when you start building that level of confidence, you're going to be okay with disappointing people. You're going to be okay with being the villain in their story. We have a lot to do as human beings in this world that we don't feel like doing. But when it comes to protecting your peace in a personal setting or in a relationship setting, is not one of them. It's not one of them. So I need you to be clear in that, because when you're clear in, you can see it a mile away, this manipulation, a lot of times you're going to go, well, is it me? Because now they're going to try to start making you feel like it's you. Now we're venturing into narcissism a little bit, because narcissists are extremely manipulative, but you don't have to be a narcissist to be manipulative. So we're going to venture over there a little bit, because, and like I said, it's more narcissism, still manipulation of like, well, nobody's going to deal with your crazy. Like, you got a lot with you, man. Nobody's going to deal with that. I mean, leave if you want, but you ain't going to find somebody as good as me. I see this all the time on both sides of the fence. Doesn't matter. Well, they're never going to find somebody like me. Okay. Let's not make that a thing. Another manipulation thing that you may hear people say, well, you just don't have the heart I have. You just don't have the love that I have for other people. Untrue. We all can love differently. If someone pulls out, well, my heart is bigger than yours, or they don't have the heart that I have, that's manipulation. Also a little victim mentality as well. So when you're aware of seeing this, like, you're going to put on a lens, you're going to be able to see this. And if this person's talking about this, and, oh, I'm so sad if you don't come, oh, I'm going to do something. Okay, manipulation, go the other direction. Hey, I really wanted you to be here. These are the people who are going to push too. Well, what do you mean you can't come? Why can't you come? Don't start asking them. Don't let them ask you a million questions. I am unavailable. And this conversation makes me a little uncomfortable. If I tell you I'm not available, please do not ask me the why. That may seem aggressive to you, but that's called communication. That's a boundary. So when you understand it, you won't take it so personal, and you won't in turn have that sort of guilt complex, because you don't need a guilt complex. Your peace, there's nothing to feel guilty for. It is going to irritate people. But I wanted to kind of jump on here because I know a lot of you, I brought those significant scenarios up, like people withholding something from you, people trying to manipulate the situation, doing all that stuff, because I see these are the three big ones. There's more, three big ones that I see in my practice. So when you understand it, you will not take these things as personal. And that's important, because their manipulation, and people who manipulate are highly insecure. Narcissists themselves are highly insecure, but they're insecure. They are trying to manipulate to get what they want. So they will do anything. They may lie. They may, leave them at the door, baby. It is not you. So the next time you feel yourself trying to almost going into that like zone and feeling guilty and stuff, check yourself right there. It is not a you issue. That is a them issue.